Hi everyone, welcome to our first live on Discord. My name is Alice, I'm the moderator of this server. Today we are going to learn a little more about the process of creating an avatar. I am very happy because I see it is a very interesting process. I'm so glad because I'm with such a good company. With our 3D designer Gerardo, our community manager David. Gerardo, David, hello. You are also excited with this talk?
Okay, guys, my name is Gerardo. I work at Linking Realities. We are currently working on a project called Union Avatars, and I would like to share a bit of the process of making avatars.
Okay, and you, David?
Social media manager. I work with Gerardo and Alicia. I'm just here because I'm very interested in the process, so I just want to learn a bit more.
Okay, I think a good first point is to know what is 3D art. So, if Gerardo, you can explain us what is this type of art, why it's so important for the process of create avatar.
Designing in 3D art is a big topic because 3D art is everything related to making. Is basically using all the computer elements, all the visual elements in the computer to deliver a message properly. What is mostly known about 3D art is about the process of modeling. Basically, let me show you. We start with a basic mesh. Let me show you. The process of 3D art is the process of modeling. When you start from a mesh and you give shape to a mesh, let's say when we want to make a stadium, we start from a cube.
I'm very interested in the process, so I just want to learn a bit more.
Okay, so
And we start evolving the shape. Let's give the floor or the ground another texture. Let's say we are making this shape. It can be a stadium, a shard, whatever.
I have a question. How can you create a texture? It is a mix of layer, or do you have to look at the reality?
Well, it really depends what you are trying to achieve with the project you are making. Usually, you want to gather reference for everything you are going to make. Is more if it's based on reality. You can go you can take the stylized approach and be a little less iconic, but in the ideal way, you will want to always look at reference before doing any project. Let me show you. I will show you later one example that will show you clearly
Okay,
how we approach that task. I was telling you guys that after we assign the materials, in this case, they are materials, very reflective materials. Let's make less reflective. We have our basic shape. After we make the basic texture, we can modify how the texture is affected by the light. We can assign light imperfections like this, scratches, etc. Once we are done with the texture work, later we do very basic lighting setup. It can be something like this. And then we we grab the still image or we make the videos. For example, this is a very short explanation, but I think it will set the proper ground to talk about what it is 3D art. What I was trying to tell you guys earlier, that everything visual related, it is in the domain of 3D art basically, because you can work with 3D shapes, but you can also make 2D shapes working on 3D. You can make very realistic interpretations for a project, but you can also make a very stylized choices. So now we know how the basic workflow to make something in 3D art. I would like to show you a bit how we approach at Linking Realities making.
It is so amazing. When you are explaining, I was thinking that it sounds like a very complex process. So, what does it take to be a 3D artist, like of studies? If you think there is some specific quality, for example, that you need?
That's a very interesting question, because 3D art, as the name says it, it's a very artistic or design-oriented career, but it's also very technical. So the thing with any 3D art disciplines is that you have to overcome the technical barrier. You need to be able to interpret the reality and try to represent it in a visual manner. Because I was trying to tell you, you're always gathering reference from real life, and you will have to interpret how a surface is made of. Let me say, if I grab a cell phone, this cell phone have different properties. What are the properties? Let me show you real quick in the screen. I don't know if you guys can read this. I will try to make it a little bigger than I usually work with. So basically what you guys are seeing at the left of the screen are the properties of the object in real life. It's like every object, even skin, hair, the ice balls, lips, a t-shirt, are made of different lighting properties or surface properties that interact with light in different manner. For example, if we are trying to make the cell phone, we can say that this cell phone has a metallic cover and the logo is more reflective. So we can start tweaking the material properties. This is the material. If I change the color, it changes the material, and we can also start adjusting the surface property. For example, I can make the surface more reflective to make it a glass or water. For example, if I want to make water, I can make one material, change the roughness, make it really dark, and we can have water. But it is a very calm water. If I want, for example, to make it a more turbulent water, I can modify how the light interacts with the surface, for example. I can a noise modifier.
It should be useful. I don't know if there's any that have to areas where there's like a bunch of different areas. Yeah, no, it's still good.
I can start to make water.
I'm going to. So why do you want to make that? No, I didn't make it yet, but like, do you want to make that?
For example, I can also change another properties of the surface. I can make the cube metallic and modify how the light interacts with the surface. Why this is important? Because everything is made of these values, basically of these properties. Metallic, specular, rough, for example, the hair has a lot of anisotropic. Let me show you real quick. For example, if you're going to make hair, we need to interpret how it is the surface of the hair. And then we use all the tools in our 3D arsenal to be able to reproduce what we are seeing in real life. But as I was trying to tell you earlier, we are not copying because we can't copy. We can only interpret and use all our available tools to do our best to serve a project. That's the best we can do. We are not copying. For example, if you can see the hair, just to show you guys how the hair is made. The hair is made with ribbons. It's all ribbons. These ribbons take the shape of the hair to simulate real hair, but we're not modeling every separate strand. We are just trying to, once again, interpret the reality and do our best interpretation. So, let me show you again.
Yeah, sure. Wait, so what is it?
How are the materials for this shader? This shader is totally different because we are not working with metallic roughness that say how reflective is the surface. The hair works in a different way. It works with anisotropic reflection. What anisotropic reflection means is that when the light hits the object, the reflections are horizontal and not perpendicular. That's what happened with most objects. The hair works differently. So we have to modify how the light reflects when it hits the shapes, because what really happening for the software or for the computer, the computer doesn't know that we are making hair. What really knows is that we are modifying some parameters when it hits a plane. So what we're really changing is how the light changes when we are hitting those planes. The only difference is not only the weight, what we are reflecting. For example, in this case, we are assigning a texture to these planes. I will show you. For example, the strands are only strips of hair. a strip of hair with transparency. I hope this answers your question, because it is a very big topic.
Yes, it is so interesting and amazing to see the process. It was a surprise for me, the revelation between fashion and avatars. I'm curious to know if fashion have an important role in the process of create an avatar, for example.
I think everything in visual arts and design is related, and is even when you're not working in design, you have to look at design because it's a great source of inspiration, even if you're not doing garments, even if you're working for the game industry and making fighting characters. It will be a good advice to always keep an eye on what the fashion industry is doing. What I was also wanted to say is that one of the most important things is to learn how to see. So you have to always keep an eye open with what is going on and what are the requirements of a project, because the difference can be very subtle, but you have to nail what a project needs, and you can leave the real source outside. Let's say you can always have to work with reference and be very clear in your mind with what the project needs at the moment.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, let me share you the screen once again. So right now we are using Marvelous Designer to make our garments. Let me show you one garment. For example, this is a uniform we are working on. I will show you a few more right now. As you can see on the right side of the screen, even when we are making 3D models that will probably never going into a real production, we will have to think or start to think as a fashion designer, because everything starts with a pattern. For example, this is the pattern for the jacket. This is the pattern for the skirt, the leggings, and the turtleneck. I will show you another one. We're working on it right now. This is a more formal clothing garment, but still the same principle applies. We are starting with a proper pattern setup, and then we are simulating the patterns. Let me show you an example. We have the base mesh. This is our standard base mesh, female base mesh for the avatars that we use as a reference to simulate the models. So if we want to start making a garment, what we will do is first we need to lay a basic fabric, for example, like this one.
No.
As if you are making the patterns. I will show you that this is a very simple fabric that we will make the cut. So I wish to check that it is really a fabric. If we simulate, we can see how the fabric behaves. To show you what I was trying to tell you before is that different fabrics behaves in a different way. For example, this is a very basic fabric, but if I copy the fabric, let's say I will freeze this fabric and I will change the properties of this fabric.
Good, good. How are you? How are you doing?
Let's make this fabric heavier and sturdier. For example,
Nice.
I can add a new material. Also, heavy.
Mumbai. Nice, nice.
I can change the properties. And make it heavier.
Oh, that sounds great.
As you can see in the simulation,
Yes,
it works very different. And if I change it once again to something softer,
Exactly.
let's change it to soft and change it to silk. We can see how the folds behave differently. Not only that, let's make it leather. We can see the difference between a normal cotton cloth and a leather cloth. The folds and the wrinkles are very different. We can also change, as we did in Blender, the light properties. For example,
Sure. Yeah. Usually, like, most of the
we can make the
surface
surface of the plane, because this is made, as I was trying to tell you before.
Yes, yes.
What we are always seeing multiple planes aligned together. What we are doing is working with those planes. This is behind the scenes. Multi-planes. In this case, they are triangles, but there is the same principle. We can even change the surface to quads. So the same principle we were using for the cube, for the water, for the hair, is the same basics we are using to make garments this time.
Yeah.
Once again, is mostly is not about the tools, but it's mostly how you're able to see and to interpret what you are seeing in real life. I hope this is making more sense by now.
Yes, I think so. I have other question. I don't know if anyone have any question, or David, you can participate. I was seeing clothes and hairstyle is an important part of your style, but also the gesture, I don't know, the form that you walk, for example. So, how much can an avatar be customized?
The possibilities for the customization of the avatars are endless. Basically, it only depends on the imagination and the scope of a project. For example, we can add glasses, we can add wristbands, watches. We can even add wings. We can add objects to the hands. We can give the avatars swords, boots, tails. The possibilities are really endless. It mostly comes to the scope of a project. If it's more based on reality or fantasy or both, and how it evolves. We can start with based in reality, and we can evolve to add fantasy stuff for sure. We can. There is another thing because right now, for example, this is a project we are working now. just to show you, it's not about only the garments and the hair, it's also about the accessories, for example, shoes. These are real-time shoes. But this is only a segment of the production, because it is also possible to not only animate the avatars but to animate the garments or the accessories. You can have, for example, you can have a watch that has an hologram, as if you are watching Star Wars with an hologram. We can have an avatar inside an avatar. The possibilities are endless.
Well, and now that you are talking about this possibility, I don't know if it happened to you, but one of the most difficult things when I have to create an avatar is if it will be a copy of the reality, like my own personality, or it will be totally different. With all these possibilities that you are explaining us. So, do you think that people prefer to be faithful to their real personality, or they prefer to change, be other person, for example?
That's a very interesting, but it's also a really big question. When it comes to the difficulty to make the avatars or anything in design, you have the technical barrier that I was telling you at the first of the meet, that you have to overcome, because it's technical. Everything is a technical difficulty, and you have to overcome that. On the other side, what I think is the most troublesome is the conceptual barrier, because since this topic is so big and everything can be made, you have to produce a basic idea, a basic concept to start the wheel moving. So the idea or the avatar can evolve. For example, even a simple design question or even a simple design task, for example, make some pants. That can be your task. Yes, making some pants in 3D. You can start, let's say, let's say your job is to make some pants. You can start with a cylinder, with another cylinder. You can make a box, work all your day to finally make the perfect shape for the pant. But that's not really answering any question. The question needs to be what are the pants are used for, who are gonna use it for in what particular situation. So you can move forward if you don't know where you are going, because the possibilities are endless. You have to always check yourself to understand where you are going with the project. To answer the other half of your question, what I think it is the most interesting. Since we are aiming at photorealism, we are for sure taking references from real life and trying to interpret them at the best of our possibilities. We also have the technical barrier, or the production needs to be accessible in different platforms. But talking about identity is a really huge topic, because we are not really representing what we see 100%. We are more like in the realm of representing the vision of what the user see of themselves, basically. I hope this makes sense to you guys. It's not about duplicating the reality, taking a photo, and making an avatar 100% exactly. It is most about
the first NFT,
the vision of that person have of themselves.
sort of like the login
Okay.
that you're gonna use.
Thank you very much to everyone for listening us, and thank you to Gerardo and David for being with me in the live. I think it was a very interesting live. It's very amazing to see this process. I see you soon in the next event, very, very soon. We'll read your comments in Discord or on Twitter. So, bye.
Have a nice one. Bye bye.